Revenge films.
I have an older sister who drives me to my prenatal checkups each time. I'm currently 8 months pregnant. My sister is married to a successful CEO and he makes a lot of money, so she doesn't need to work. We live in the same neighborhood and my place is about a 10-minute walk from my sister's place. Let me drive you to your prenatal checkups. I have the time and I'd feel better going with you. It was very considerate of my sister to offer to drive me and I gladly accepted. I plan on giving birth at a general hospital and the waiting room there is pretty spacious and I'm usually able to sit down. But when we got to the hospital that day, it was really busy and the waiting room was crowded. When it's crowded like this, my sister would look for an empty seat so that I could sit down at. I'm fine standing, so you sit here. That day, there were no empty seats though. It seemed that the people that had accompanied the patients to the hospital were also sitting down. I saw quite a few pregnant women were standing because there were no available seats. The hospital is really busy today. Yes, it is. That day was a Monday, and it was the first weekday after a long weekend. All the people that fell ill over the weekend were at the hospital today. My sister continued to look around to see if there were any open seats. Just then, one seat opened up. That seat is available now. I walked over and was about to sit down when a man came into the waiting room. He ran over to the empty seat and sat down. My sister was not happy about this. Why would he do that? How rude. It's okay. Other pregnant women are standing too, and I'll be fine. That man isn't even a patient. If he had any manners, he would offer the seat to someone who needs it. My sister went over to the man and said, "Excuse me, is it possible for you to give up your seats for my pregnant sister?" The man glared at my sister.
Why me? There are a bunch of other people you can ask.
Well, the seat was empty before you sat down, and my sister was walking over to sit down when you came running and sat down before her.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This waiting room is adjacent to the obstetrics department. Don't you think that it'd be nice for you to offer your seat to a pregnant woman?
Shut up, bitch! Go bother someone else!
I'm fine standing. I don't need to sit down. It's not right at all. I could see that you've been touching your belly. It means that you have some pain. Well, yes, a little.
She says she's fine standing, so leave me alone now. I don't need this.
My sister was seriously pissed off at the man in the waiting room. Let's go stand by the wall. Actually, you do that. I'll wait here to see if another seat opens up. I'll text you when the doctor calls your name. As I was making my way towards the other side of the room, the wife of the man sitting in the waiting room came out of the examination room.
I'm here. Did you find out if we were having a boy or a girl?
But when his wife saw him sitting down, she got angry and slapped him hard in the face.
Ouch! That hurts! Why did you do that?
Look around you. There are many sick patients and pregnant women standing. You should offer them one of your seats. Why should you be sitting? Look at those 2 pregnant women standing by the wall. Don't you feel bad for them?
But this seat was open, so I sat down.
Then a small boy came running over. A woman asked if her pregnant sister could sit down, but this man said no. The man seemed nervous.
You don't know what you're talking about. Stop making stuff up!
You need to apologize to everyone now. Can't you see that this waiting room is connected to the obstetrics department? If there is no one else standing, you are free to sit down, but when it's crowded like today, you need to offer your seat to someone who needs it. It's so inconsiderate of you to make pregnant women stand while you sit. Now get out of your seat. If you can't behave, go home.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Everyone was staring at the married couple in the waiting room. Then, many other people began to get up from their seats. All the people that didn't really need to sit down lined up against the wall and stood. I wanted to laugh out loud, but I held it in as much as possible. As a result, all the pregnant women that had been standing were able to sit down. The man's wife apologized to everyone in the room. I'm sorry about my husband's behavior. You need to apologize too. How are you going to be a decent father if you can't think about other people's feelings? The man who had been so self-righteous before came over to us and said,
I'm sorry that I was rude to you earlier. I hope that you'll be able to forgive me.
After the couple apologized to us, they left the hospital. That woman was so strong. She was, and thanks to her, you and the other pregnant woman were able to sit down. I was called in for my prenatal checkup, and after it was over, my sister and I left the hospital to go buy some cute baby items. 1 month later, I was at the hospital again for another checkup, and I saw a pregnant woman from last time. She was sitting down, but her husband was standing by the wall. When she saw my sister and I, she greeted us.
Hello, nice to see you again. I'm sorry about last time.
Hello, thank you for speaking up. Because you did, my sister was able to sit down. It's not crowded today, so I think that your husband is able to sit down next to you, no? It was a Wednesday, and the hospital wasn't crowded at all. There were a lot of empty seats, but the woman's husband was standing anyway.
He can stand. He needs to pay for his rude behavior. I don't know what he was thinking. He shouldn't have been so selfish. I'm embarrassed that it didn't occur to him that he should give up his seat. We talked about it and decided it's best for him to stand from now on, regardless of whether it's crowded or not.
I see. If you don't mind, can I have your name, please?
I'm Helen.
My name is Ariel, and this is my sister Mia.
Nice to see you both again. Our children are going to be in the same grade. It'd be nice if our paths crossed again sometime. I hope that we bump into each other again soon.
Yes, that'd be nice. It looks like your husband feels bad about what he did. Let's forget it ever happened. Helen's husband stood quietly in the waiting room. While he saw us looking in his direction, he greeted us with a nervous smile.
Well, I did chew him out pretty badly after he got home from our last prenatal checkup. I think he's learned his lesson.
I see.
We live with my husband's family and he has 2 older sisters. It turns out his sisters had similar experiences at the hospital in the past, and when they found out about what he did to you, they were furious with him.
It's because of assholes like you that women don't feel comfortable getting pregnant and giving birth. If you're going to be selfish, you should wait out in a car. You don't deserve to wait inside the hospital with Helen. You need to grow up if you want to become a decent father.
That's right. The next time you go to the hospital, you shouldn't sit at all, even if there are seats available. That's the least you could do.
After everyone in his family told him how rude he has been, the man learned his lesson. We knew that we shouldn't laugh, but Helen told us the story so vividly that we couldn't help but giggle while listening. After what happened the last time, the hospital put up a roster in the waiting room urging people to give up their seats for sick patients and pregnant women. Now, pregnant women were able to sit down without worrying about asking others to give up their seats. The story about Helen and her husband in the waiting room became pretty famous, and the other husbands of pregnant women made sure to give up their seats to those who needed them.
Please, take my seat. I don't need to be sitting down.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. I was happy to see that people were being kind and compassionate to one another. If Helen hadn't told her husband off, other pregnant women would still be having a hard time getting a seat in the waiting room. It's amazing to think that one action in the right direction can have such a huge impact. It was my final checkup before giving birth, and Helen and her husband were also at the hospital. He was standing in his usual corner, not bothering anybody. I'm sure that he regrets his actions from that day.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.